Hey guys, Kai here from TransformYourGame.net, and today we're going to be doing our last deck profile before the set Titan Masters attack finally releases, and it's going to be one of the Titan Masters that I was, during spoiler season, I was very excited to play test and try out, and that is Skullsmasher. Skullsmasher, here is his stats. Let me just pause the video if you want to actually look at his stats or whatever, but yeah. So Skullsmasher, one of the interesting things about him is the body mode ability. That's easily just the most interesting thing to me about it. Being able to just do damage to any character that becomes tapped is pretty amazing. This one does come up a few times, Sky Shadow, but yeah, it's for the most part. We're going to be making him big enough to where he will at least tie with most characters other than like combiners and of course the aforementioned Sky Shadow, who is a combiner. But yeah, so just really good mode. He has solid stats in this mode too. He has 2 defense, which is the mode you want to attack with him in. This mode right here does come up somewhat because it has the 6 attack and it does have Pierce 3 against Autobots. Not as entirely relevant right now, but if you do need to get in there, like say you go against Captain Jetfire or something, you can guarantee Pierce 3. But for the most part, we're just going to be in this mode. And in order to make him as big as possible, which we're going to be playing Flintlock, the Tough 2 head, or Tough 3 head, excuse me. So it's going to be 4 stars and 11 stars, which will make him a 15-star character. So that means everyone under Galaxy Optimus will, or Galaxy Optimus won't do any damage because it doesn't count damage that character costs that are equal to him. So so that's why we just we're 15, so that we have a decent matchup at least against Galaxy, because we can ping his other 2 characters for 1 when they swing. And then also the Tough 3 is just really important because you just want to soak up as much damage as possible, because this deck right here specifically is designed to just ping your opponent to death using the range package. So the range package, we're going to be playing, of course, Night Racer, and we're going to be playing Buzzsaw from the Sound Blaster versus Soundwave thingamabob. So Night Racer, yes, I know all 3 of the deck profiles that I recently so far have Night Racer in them, but she's just such an amazing 5-star. The most important thing we need for her is her range tag, because both of these characters are actually ranged, and she's just really bulky, which is what we need. And she can potentially bulk up the rest of your team members if you have a secret action down, which is not too uncommon. So pretty simple. And then Buzzsaw, he's going to be the main way we just cheat out extra damage, because being able to play a blue weapon means you can play like armed hovercraft on him and then swing with him, and then play something else like laser cutlass or energon axe or stuff of that ilk. And then he can also just move armed hovercrafts around when you flip to this mode. So that's just the lineup right now. You could one thing to note is you probably want to side Grax for the Pierce, the Black Pit matchup, because the Tough 3 isn't really going to get you there. So if you can, just side Grax. He has the +5 head, he's the +5 health head, and he just makes Skullsmasher just live long enough to where you can get in there with the black against the Black Pierce damage. But yeah, that's the character lineup. We'll discuss a few extra details later, but for the time being, that's that. We'll go into the battle deck. So we're playing, of course, 3 handheld. You want your characters to live as much as possible. So 3 handheld is just really solid. Then we're playing 3 armed hovercraft and 3 sturdy javelin as the range package. Just really good. It's one of the easiest ways to offensively increase your direct damage output and just start pinging characters that you would normally be able to touch, a la Horrible style. But also, it's just some neat things that you can do with Sturdy Javelin, specifically with Buzzsaw. So there will be plays where you have Sturdy Javelin and Armed Hovercraft in hand. You can just play the Sturdy Javelin onto Buzzsaw, swing, trigger the Javelin first, throw it at whoever you want for 2 damage, and then you can use Buzzsaw's ability to play Armed Hovercraft to do a total of 3 damage to any character that you wanted, as well as 1 to everyone else. And that's just a lot of damage, especially once, if he survives, you can just flip him, and then you just move the Armed Hovercraft over to Night Racer and just get another photon bomb down. Or if you've already swung and he doesn't have a weapon or something, you can play Armed Hovercraft and then just move that over and just photon bomb their board for not free, but you know, pretty good value. So that's the basic general idea of the deck. You just want to keep pinging your opponent, as well as forcing them to take damage when they attack while Skullsmasher is in his body mode. So it's really solid direct damage overall. And then for actual weapons, quote unquote, we're playing 2 Energon Axe and 2 Laser Cutlass. We're only playing split of 2 because these can only go into the little guys, whereas these require you to take to have damage on you, which isn't so hard now because of things like Camming Crash. But you aren't going to always have Camming Crash in this in hand, so it's just 2 and 2 I think is good enough, because Pierce 3 is relevant enough on your little guys to where this will come up more often than this, especially since you don't have to be damaged in order to play it. And then of course we're playing Scoundrel's Blaster as a recurable blue weapon in order to just guarantee that we have a weapon at least, so that we're doing 2 more damage against orange decks, which is sometimes all you need to do. And also just to make Skullsmasher attack for more, because you are not consistently drawing Energon Axe. So armors, we're playing Hollow Matter and Sparring Gear. Hollow Matter is for Horrible mainly, but also just as a second armor, because this one. So the main reason we're playing not the Rock Paper Scissors one, because Skullsmasher is a melee character. So that one is covert armor, and that blocks specialists. It gives +1 extra defense against specialists. And realistically, the only specialist character you'll probably see in competitive play for a little while is probably the occasional Shockwave, which I don't think it'll really matter all too much, or Perceptor in alt mode. And in that mode he has a paltry 3 attack with no way to buff his actual stats besides a weapon and or action. But he has a base 3. He doesn't get his extra attack from his cards underneath him. So yeah, Covert Armor just isn't going to give you extra. It's just going to be a blue pip +1, which I think Hollow Matter just does better. It doesn't have a blue pip, but it just protects you from more damage overall. So very solid. And then Sparring Gear is also just generic for being able to play on any of your characters should you need them to live. So there's that. And then we're playing 2 Enhanced Power Cell and 1 Pocket Processor. So Enhanced Power Cell. I was playing Energy Pack before this card was revealed, and now that we have this card, I think this is probably just better because you can play it on your little guys, because realistically Skullsmasher is not going to live forever. So you do need to eventually, you will have hands where you'll draw this and then you won't be able to play Energy Pack on your little guys. So this is just helpful for that. Also the Black Pip can come up every so often. It's largely a little more relevant as much as the orange pip in Deus Ex. And then Pocket Processor probably don't really need, but having extra cards in order to just keep doing more damage, I think is good enough to justify that. So for actions, we're playing 3 Security Checkpoint, 3 Bigger They Are. Bigger They Are is pretty important because you got a lot of little guys swinging. You can give +2 to Skullsmasher. Pierce 4 is a very big number, especially if you combine it with things like Laser Cutlass or Energon Axe. So it's just the damage just really adds up. So you just want to play as much of those as possible. Then for our direct damage options, we're playing Canyon Crash and Tripwire. Tripwire is especially powerful because if they are playing Night Racer or 5-star drop, then this just becomes Plasma Burst to them. And Plasma Burst because of the Skullsmasher's ability, where if you tap, if a character becomes tapped, you do an extra damage to him. So this just becomes Plasma Burst and taps the character, which is insane. And then Canyon Crash is just to close out those kills or put them in range to where Skullsmasher will KO them when they attack, which is a very good feeling. That's the main, what's the word? Endorphins? This is the main joy of the deck, basically. Like if you have Skullsmasher in this mode and they just have a character that has 1 health and they have to swing at that character, that just feels good. That's like that's the reason for why you want to play Skullsmasher, in my opinion. So then we're playing Mission Briefing and Reprocess. Mission Briefing is just white mainly. It's I didn't feel like I need to play Piercing Blast there. It just didn't seem relevant enough. But also just it's a recurable white, so that if you need to for some reason, you can draw 2 because Skullsmasher will almost always be in body mode, and then you will may sometimes have Buzzsaw in this mode, which by the way, this mode has stealth, so I forgot to mention it earlier, but just being able to funnel your attacks into different characters because Buzzsaw is in his alt mode is also just a really powerful thing about this deck as a control deck. So that's just really good. And then Reprocess is also just in case you don't really care to remove a lot of the stuff that's in this current metagame, because weapons just don't really stick around all that often. And then the only things you probably will hit with this is increased durabilities and or enhanced power cells or power or energy packs or stuff, the utility stuff. So that's the main reason. But also you just want to repair too sometimes, because you want your guys to live. So sometimes you just repair like your armed hovercrafts or whatnot. And then we're playing 2 End Hostilities, 2 Sabotage Armaments, 2 Backfire, 1 Hidden Fortification, and 1 Hold the Line. Hold the Line is still just a generic, decent force field style. Can't think of the word right now. Secret action. But also it heals 1, so you can think of it as +1 defense that you can grab back if you need a secret action for tough 1 as well. Thanks to Night Racer. Sabotage Armament is still really good, and Hostilities is just really solid, especially since you're playing some orange, but also just shuts down a lot of the orange decks in the format, at least for a swing. And then Hidden Fortification is just good as a generic. And then Backfire, you realistically won't do more than 1 damage because they'll have a weapon and then you'll ping them for that 1 damage, but that just becomes 2 damage, so it just becomes a secret action that Plasma bursts them, which again you may be able to just KO them that way. But sometimes there's also things like Bashing Shield or Enhanced Power Cell or various other utilities for you to be able to just do more damage to them. So it's basically just piling on extra damage, and also it enables tough 1 from Night Racer, so it's really not all that bad. But yeah, that's the main deck. Some notes about the matchups. Sky Shadow is indeed a tough cookie to crack. He just provides a lot of offensive power that can usually live enough through these. Like you may be able to orchestrate a scenario where you'll be able to just KO both pieces, but unrealistically that is not likely to happen. However, you can do it to where you KO a piece out of combat very reliably and then just swing into the combiner. One thing to note is that if they have a piece that is not actually about to die, or that is actually about to die, like if they have a Sky Shadow plane that has like 9 damage on it and you have Skullsmasher in this mode, that's really bad for you, because they're going to attack, they're going to take the damage, and then they're going to combine untapped. I don't know where my ominous is. They're going to combine untap, and they're going to get the Sky Shadow stats twice for 2 attacks, and that's just not something you want to do. And it's just another reason for why Skullsmasher is really difficult to play. But I think the deck is pretty solid. Is for the idea and concept that I had. I think it's fairly fun. It's definitely not as competitive as I would have liked it to be, especially now that we know the whole set and how aggressive it is, but or at least how it seems to be aggressive. So this style of the deck also loses to the fact that Horrible is just a more aggressive version of this style of deck because he pinks a bunch of damage. It doesn't do it to it's not as widespread, it's more focus based, but still it's strong enough to where hollow matter projectors, reflect damages, and take covers are going to be running rampant. So this deck is just going to have even more trouble with that in this format. However, if you don't really care about any of that stuff, or you just want to find a Skullsmasher deck, I think this is a pretty cool deck. I think there could be a version where you just do a Pierce version of a Skullsmasher, but I just wanted to do the direct damage option and just go that way. And I thought this was a pretty neat idea, at least, to present to you guys. So hopefully you guys enjoy. That's the deck profile, and this is the last time you're gonna be seeing such shoddy proxies because I'm actually recording this Saturday. So I am a week before the set comes out, so I'm pretty excited. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys are excited for. I might do a deck profile if I have deck profile of that character, or whatever you're excited about. Just depends on if I have something in the cooker. But yeah, I don't know exactly what the next deck profile is going to be because it might be one of you guys' suggestions. But yeah, this set is very exciting. There's a lot of new things going on, some things scary, some things exciting, but I hope you guys are going to enjoy it. And this table is really shaky. I hope I get my table soon. But yeah, like the video, subscribe down below, and yeah, if you guys like any of this stuff, just check out our website, transformyourgame.net. It's in the description down below. So yeah, that's where you'll find more competitive stuff and whatnot. This was a little more casual fun with a more competitive minded take on it, but I hope you guys still enjoyed either way. But I'm just rambling now, so I'll probably just end the video now. So I'll see you guys later. Peace.